Hello guys, ayun, sa video na to, I'll be going to rationalize or explain Gen Ed Science, okay, questions, 100 questions sa lahat-lahat. Okay, so number one, let's go with number one. There are living things that use sunlight, chlorophyll, water, and carbon dioxide to produce food. Okay, these are living organisms or living things that use sunlight, chlorophyll, water, and carbon dioxide to produce food. Okay, so they are called autotrophs. Okay, so autotrophs are plants usually that makes, or I mean, these are living organisms that make their own food. Okay, whereas heterotrophs are those living organisms that feed on the autotrophs. Okay, and saprotroph, the third type, are animals that feed on dead organisms, like they are called scavengers. And we also have chemotrophs, which are organisms that feed on chemicals. Okay, so there you go. The answer here is letter A. Next one, number two. It is described as the lifeline of the body. It is the body's pick-up and delivery system. Okay, pick-up and delivery system, that is circulatory system. Okay, because the blood, okay, the circulatory system, the primary component is the blood. We have the white blood cells, we have the red blood cells, and the blood platelets, and there are also antigens. Okay, white blood cells, mayroong lymphocytes, and marami pa, prothrombin, like that stuff. Okay, anyway, circulatory systems, this system delivers food and nutrients to the body. Okay, so these food and nutrients are being carried by the blood, okay, and then deliver it to the parts of the body. When the blood goes back to the the heart, it carries its the toxins, okay, or the waste products. Okay, so that is the reason why the blood goes to the lungs to clean it with to clean it from the carbon dioxide. Okay, and then it also goes to the kidney to clean it with the other toxins, like, shall I say, urea and excess sugar, like that. Okay, so there you go. That's circulatory system, letter C. Next one, number three. It carries the oxygen-rich blood to the head, arms, and chest, and down to the waist and the legs. Okay, so this is arteries. Okay, these are arteries. Arteries carries oxygen-rich blood to the head or other parts of the body. When this blood goes back to the heart, okay, they are being carried by the ventricles. Oh, wait. Veins. I'm sorry. Veins. Sorry for that. Okay, there you go. That's the veins carries the blood that is rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, so and it goes to the lungs for the gaseous exchange. This carbon dioxide will be removed and then replaced by oxygen again, and back to the heart, and the heart is again going to pump this blood, oxygen-rich blood, to the other parts of the body. Okay, that's how it works. And then when it reaches to the body in the capillaries, there is the gaseous exchange again and the carbon dioxide is removed from the body systems or the cells, and then this carbon dioxide is replaced with oxygen. Okay, so this carbon dioxide is delivered by the blood through the veins back to the heart. Okay, there you go. Next one, they are the transmitters of message from the different parts of the body to the brain and vice versa. Okay, these are the neurons or the nerve cells. Okay, neurons and nerve cells, they are we have actually if you study the nervous system, okay, nervous system, meron tayong peripheral and central nervous systems. Okay, meron tayong three types of neurons. We have the motor neuron, sensory neuron, and motor neurons. Okay, ayan siya, or effectors, and the other one is I forgot the other one. I'm sorry for that. Anyway, so neurons and nerve cells. Okay. Next one, which part of the brain controls the following activities: breathing, blood pressure, heart rate, alertness? Okay, so that is, we have three parts of the brain, okay? Three major parts, just three major parts of the brain. We have the brainstem, we have the cerebellum, and the cerebrum, okay? Cerebrum is the biggest part of the brain, okay? Na makikita yan siya sa yung pinakamalaking, yung no-cover ng skull, okay? Brainstem, that connects the brain to the spinal cord, whereas the cerebellum is found below, just a little bit of like part of the brain, found below the cerebrum, okay? That's nasa batok siya, makikita siya sa batok part, okay? So ang purpose or ang work ng cerebrum, si cerebrum, ang work niya is sa senses, sa touch, sa vision, sa hearing, whereas the brainstem, that is actually the answer here is the one the part that controls the breathing, the blood pressure, heart rate, and alertness, okay? Whereas the cerebellum is the responsible for the movements, posture, and balance, so balance of the body, okay? So ganun siya. Next one refers to the sequence of organisms in a community that constitutes a feeding chain. Okay. Yeah, it's food chain, number 6. Next one, we have is a group of interacting plants, animals, and human in particular area. So what is that? That is ecological community or just community. Sa hierarchical organization, mayroon tayong cell, tissue, organs, organ system, organism, we have the population, we have the community, okay, and we have the ecosystem, and we have the biosphere, okay? So this is community. Interacting plants, animals, and human in particular area. Okay, so that's community. Ecological community, that's letter A. Next one, number 8. Excessive presence of carbon dioxide in the air, trapping heat near the Earth's surface, causing the rise of temperature in the environment. Okay, so this carbon dioxide actually traps the heat coming from the sun. So this heat will just stay in the atmosphere, particularly near the Earth. So that's why it feels hotter. Okay, so that is greenhouse effect. Okay, this what's that? Accumulation of or the deposits of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which causes the heat not to go through it. Okay, this will react with or the CFCs. I mean the CFCs or the chlorofluorocarbons. It will react with the ozone, which is O3, and that produces oxygen in there. So that's the reason why our ozone layer is becoming thinner. It is because it reacts with the chlorofluorocarbons and carbon dioxide in the air to produce carbon monoxides, which is carbon monoxides are harmful compounds. Okay, harmful gas. Anyway, so yun siya. So greenhouse effect. Okay. Next, number 9, the Earth's shield against the sun's harmful radiation. Of course, it's ozone layer. We all know that. Okay, so let's go to number 10. The use of product containing blank is discouraged because they contribute to the depletion of blank. Okay, so the use of product containing chlorofluorocarbons or CFCs, okay, chlorofluorocarbons or CFCs is discouraged because they contribute to the depletion of the ozone layer. Kasi see, chlorofluorocarbons, when they go to the atmosphere, they react with the ozone layer or the ozone. Ozone is O3, okay, and chlorofluorocarbons is CFC. And this CFC will react with ozone, or which is O3, and that becomes CO plus what's that? CO, which is carbon monoxide, and then the ozone splits and becomes 1 atom of oxygen and 2 atoms of oxygen. That means that's oxygen gas in O2. Okay, O3 becomes O2 plus O1, and then O1 reacts with or chemically combines with the carbon in the chlorofluorocarbon to form that carbon monoxide, which is very harmful, and that is the reason why our ozone layer is becoming thinner. Okay, so because it reacts with CFCs. Products that are releasing CFCs, okay, or containing CFCs are air conditioning units. We have the freezers, okay, some of those, and all the other things. Mga air fresheners. Ay, what's that? Like, yung spray, Lysols, mga ganun. Okay? Aerosols, I'm sorry. Aerosols. Okay? So, ganun. Next one, number 11. What causes high and low tides? Okay, that is gravitational pull between the moon and the earth. Okay? So, or the moon's gravitational pull. Okay? That causes the low tide and the high tides. Okay? So, that is letter B, 11. Next one. Number 12. How is coral atoll? Oh, sorry, this is atoll. This is ATOLL. Okay, atoll form. Okay, so this is the growing corals growing around the volcanic island. Volcanic islands are what's this? Form of lands, shall we say, that are submerged underwater, and usually atolls. We call them atolls, or some of them are atolls where corals are growing in them. Atolls are like circular or what's this? Circular or what's that? Oblong islands with central lagoon. Okay, so ganun siya. Next one. Oh, that's letter B. Next one, number 13. What is a longshore drift? Okay, this is movement of particles along the coast. Okay, so that's letter A. Okay, longshore drift. Next one, 14. How does occlusion form? Occlusion is this is the definition actually. Occlusion is a process of the formation of the cold front pushing warm air up off the ground. Okay, so that's occlusion. So that is letter B. Okay, there you go. Next, what is heat? I'm sorry, that's heat haze. Okay, heat haze. Pag nasa desert kayo or sa very hot weather or sa pag sobrang mainit, makikita niyo na parang nagde-deform yung image ng isang object like trees or yung animals na makikita nyo kasi that is actually because of the bending of the image. That bending of the image of organisms is actually caused by heat haze. Okay, heat haze. Okay, so that is letter a distorted image resulting from the bending of sun's light rays by changes in the air temperature. Okay, so that's bending of the sun's rays. That's letter B. Number 16. What sort of rock formation do the world's greatest mountain ranges consist of? Okay, that's chalk deposit. Okay, so mountain ranges. Next one, that's letter B. Number 17. I'm sorry. Number 17. What is the four that wears down mountains? Okay, wears down mountains. The soil erosion or erosion itself. Okay. Next one. How are volcanic islands formed? Okay, how are volcanic islands formed? Volcanic islands are formed usually because of the collision of two oceanic plates. Okay, two oceanic plates. Actually, pati din sa yung mountain ranges like Himalayas, the Alps, and the Andes in South America, they are actually caused by the continuous push of other plates against the other plate. Okay, so the sub-Indian continent is pushing against the mainland Asia. That's the reason why Mount Everest is formed, and that's found in Himalayas group of mountains or mountain range. And the second highest is Mount K2, also in Himalayas. Himalayas is growing actually, and that is the growth is because of the continuous push of the Indian subcontinent against the Asian continent. Okay, I mean the Asian plate. Okay, so next number. Okay, when the theory of plate tectonics was generally accepted. Okay, so that's in 1950s. Actually, it was validated late 1950s until early 1960s. Okay, so that's letter C. Next one, number 20, the weathering away of rocks by water, wind, and ice. That is erosion again. Okay, weathering away. Next one, 21. How do hormones work? Okay, by releasing adrenaline. This is just one of their hormones work, okay? Releasing adrenaline, also regulating water loss, that is one, okay? Controlling blood pressure, that is one. Okay, by controlling cell chemistry, that's the general work. Specific kasi yung A, C, and D. Usually, that's internal balance. The internal balance is, or we call it homeostasis. Okay, so that's the work of hormones. Okay, the release. They control the cell chemistry or the chemicals present in the cell. Okay, that's letter B. Next on 22, name the male and the female sex hormones. It's testosterone. Okay, sperm cell and ovum. This is these are the male and female sex cells. Okay, sex cells or gamete cells. Okay, so sex hormones, female and male, that's testosterone. Next one, the unit of measurement of energy in a given amount of food is calorie. Okay, that's calorie. Nitrogen compounds known as the building blocks of proteins. Okay, no, building blocks of proteins, nakalimutan lagyan ng choices dito. Anyway, building blocks of proteins are amino acids. Okay, the answer here is amino acids. And the building blocks of carbohydrates are monosaccharides or simple sugars. Okay, there we go. Next one, 25. 25, the growth of roots towards water is an example of hydrotropism, okay? Because water is hydro, of course. That's letter C. And phototropism, like the sunflower, okay? So, towards the sun, phototropism. Whereas chemotropism, that's a chemical. And geotropism, that is towards the soil, okay? Like roots going to the soil. That's the natural tendency of the roots, right? They usually go to the soil, and they are geotropism. Observing the geotropism phenomenon, I'm sorry. The DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid, which is letter C. Okay. 27, what are the three products of oxygen when it has been burned? Okay, so that is energy, water, and carbon dioxide. And that is letter B. Okay. Okay, so 28, in flowering plants, fertilization happens in the ovules. Okay, ovules are found in the ovaries. Okay. Pollen grain is the male reproductive cell of the plant, okay, and stamen is the male reproductive organ, okay, which is composed of the filament and the anther, okay, where anther is where we can find the pollen grains, okay. Next one. Sa female part naman, we have the pistil, okay? Female organ of the flower. And it is composed of the stigma, where stigma is a sticky part of the pistil. Okay, so where the pollen grains are stuck when they are blown by the air, or like, agents of pollination, birds or bees, okay? And next is the style, which is the connection between the stigma and the ovary. And below that, we have the ovary, and inside the ovary, we have the ovules. Ovules are when they're fertilized with pollen grains, and then they develop into seeds of the fruit. And the ovary becomes the fruit when it matures. Okay, there you go. Next one. The development of egg without fertilization is parthenogenesis. Okay, spermatogenesis is the process of the production of sperms. Mitosis is the cell division in the body cells, and mitochondria is the site of cellular respiration in the cells. Okay, so that's letter B, parthenogenesis. 30, which of the following is a source of energy needed for photosynthesis? Of course, it's light, the sunlight. Chemistry is primarily concerned with the composition and changes of matter. That's letter B. Okay, chemistry is the study of matter. Zoology, botany or biology studies life, and botany is a branch of biology that studies specifically plants. Zoology is animals. Okay. Next one, a scientific theory is a hypothesis not yet subjected to experimental test. Okay. So, needs to be proven, that theory. Okay, so that's letter A. Next one. Which of the following units of measure is equivalent to cubic centimeter? Cubic centimeter, that is milliliter. Okay, cubic centimeter or cm raised to 3 or cm3, say cm cube. 1 ml is equal to 1 cm cube. So that means 1,000 liter, 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. So that means 1 liter is also equal to 1,000 cubic centimeter or cm3. Okay, there you go. That's milliliter. That's letter B. Next one, 34. Which of the following is not a compound? Not a compound. Acetic acid, of course, it's a compound because it's acid. Alcohol is also, again, a compound. Alcohols. Of course, it's a compound. And C, magnesium is an element. Okay? Element. So that's letter C. Not a compound or element. Magnesium, which is letter C, is the answer. Next one, 35. The easier the atom to receive electron is measured by its valence electrons. Okay? We have studied in chemistry, we have the duet and the octet rule. Duet is like 2 atoms in the first energy level, and the next, second, third, fourth, fifth energy level, mayroon siyang 8 electrons para maging stable. Okay? So, shall I say, if the valence electron or outermost electron, valence electrons are outermost electrons. Okay? If the valence electrons of an element is 5, that means it needs more, 3 more electrons to be stable. Okay? Ganun siya. Always octet or 8 number. The number or 8 electrons. Valence electron is valence electrons are outermost electrons in the given element or atoms. Next one. The willingness of an atom to receive electron is measured by its electron affinity. Okay? The willingness to receive electron. Electron affinity. Next one. A molecule is said to be polar or dipole if blank. Okay? It possesses polar bonds. When I say polar bonds, this is unequal bonding. Like, shall I say, H2O. In H2O, there are 2 H or hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Okay? That is polar bonding. Okay? That's polar bonding. Which of the following, the question there is like, which of the following is not a physical property of water? Okay. Freezing point at 0 degrees Celsius, that's true. Boiling point at 100 degrees Celsius, that's true. Okay, boiling point. Its heat of fusion is at 80 calories per gram, that's true. And its density at 4 degrees at 1 pound per cubic feet is also true. Okay? So, the answer here is letter E. Kasi pag wala dun sa choices yung sagot, we're instructed to answer letter E. Okay? Next one. 39. Which of the following statements is true? A molecular weight does not influence boiling and melting point of the substance, or boiling and melting points tend to increase with molecular weight. Okay. So, when we say molecular weights, that's the atomic weight of a given atom. Like, shall I say H2O? H is 1, and there are 2 H there, so that's 2 times 1 is 2. Oxygen is only 1 there in H2O, times the atomic mass, the atomic weight is 16. So 1 times 16 is 16. 16 oxygen plus 2 hydrogen, that is 18. Okay? Now, if more than that, the higher the molecular weight, okay, the higher the melting and the boiling points. Okay? That's letter B there, the answer. Okay? Next one. A mole is the amount of substance or a mass of a substance that contains 6.02 times 10 raised to 23 particles. Okay, so just A and C are just the same anyway. Okay? That's 6.02 times 10 raised to 23. Okay, so particles or atoms or molecules. That's the unit there. A or C. A and C, I'm sorry, the answer. It is the measure kasi pareho lang sila. Next, 41, it is the measure of the amount of matter in the object. Amount of matter in the object, that is mass. Wherein weight is the amount of gravitational pull against the object. Okay, so that's the weight. The difference between mass and the weight, yun yung sinabi ko. And then to illustrate, or for example, your 60 kilograms here on Earth. When you go to the moon, you are just like 10 kilograms. Okay, your mass, the amount of object in you is just the same, but the weight changes because the weight always depend on the The weight always depends on the gravitational pull of a given body, like the Earth or the Moon, like that. They have the different gravitational pull. Okay, there you go. That's letter B. Next one. It is the distance traveled by the body per unit time, and tell how fast or slow the body moves. Okay, so that is speed. Okay, whereas number 43 also are actually related. I'm gonna explain it why it's like that. The rate of change of the distance traveled per unit of time in a stated direction. Okay, so that's velocity, which is letter A. Okay, so the difference between speed and velocity is speed is a scalar quantity, whereas the velocity is a vector quantity. The difference between scalar quantity and vector quantity, scalar has just the magnitude, like 60 kilometers, 2 minutes, like that. Okay, but velocity, or I mean the vector quantity, it has the magnitude and direction, like shall I say 10 kilometers east. Okay, so direction there is east, 20 kilometers north east, like that. Okay, so that's vector. That's the difference between scalar and vector. So the speed is scalar, and then the velocity is a vector. So as you can see here in question number 43, it's stated direction. Okay, if there's a direction, that is velocity. Okay, the difference. Next one, 44. This law states that the force acting upon an object is equal to the product of the mass and acceleration of the object. Okay, so this is force equals to mass times acceleration, or acceleration is equals to final velocity minus initial velocity over time. Okay, so this is the second law of motion, or law of acceleration. The second law. First law is law of inertia, and the third law is the law of interaction. Or okay, so second law states that force is equal to the mass times acceleration. Okay, so ganun siya. That's second law, which is letter A, 44. Next one, when the force is applied to a body, several effects are possible. So which one of the following effect can't occur? Okay, so number 45, that is the body rotates, the body changes direction, the body increase. Letter C. It does not increase, any force does not increase the body mass. Okay, there you go. Okay, so 46, it is the reluctance of the object to change either its state of rest or uniform motion in the straight line. So that's motion. Okay, letter D. Friction naman, that is the force that acts against the applied force. Okay, like yun yung reason kung bakit nagmo-move yung object sa rough surfaces rather than in compared to smooth surfaces, kasi si friction nag-a-act against the applied force. Kaya nga yung car natin nagmo-move forward kasi yung friction force actually is moving against it. Okay, para mag-move yung car. Ganun siya. Anyway, the law states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed but only changes from one form to another. That is the law of conservation of energy. Okay, law of conservation of energy. The law does, this is energy cannot be created nor destroyed but only changes one form to another. Like shall I say, from the wind, we get the energy from the wind, and we call that mechanical. Oh wait, what's that? Wind energy, I'm sorry. And then it is transmitted into by the generator into electrical energy. Okay, source of electric. So that's from wind energy to electrical energy. Okay, and then when this electricity is used with appliances, we call it like mechanical energy na. Okay, so ganun lang yung transformation ng energy. It's not destroyed nor created. It just changes from one form to another. Okay, there's this law of conservation of energy. Next one, 48. This law states that matter is made up of a large number of molecules which are in continuous motion. That is kinetic theory, or molecular kinetic theory. Okay, molecular kinetic theory. Okay, the law states that the matter is made up of large number of molecules which are in continuous motion. Okay, so that's the reason why we have the three states of matter: the liquid, the gas, and the solid. Okay. Next one, the lowest possible temperature that a substance can reach is absolute zero. That's letter B. 50, it is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of kilogram of a substance by degree Celsius. That is kilogram per degree Celsius. That's specific heat or capacity. Specific heat capacity, that's letter C. Okay, so the relationship of give and take of living organism in the biosphere is a balance of nature called the symbiotic relationship. That's letter B, okay? Symbiotic relationship again. Commensalism, we have competition, we have predation, we have parasitism. What more? Anyway. Next one, the process of moving or removing excess odor in water. So that is aeration or air, using air. Next one, so the following statement is correct. Altitude increases. As altitude increases, atmospheric pressures corresponding or increases also. Yeah, this is correct because if you notice that people living in high altitudes, like shall I say in Nepal, or those in the mountain ranges, like in Nepal, what more? Like those of Peru in Machu Picchu, all those people, you will notice that they have like blushes in their cheeks. It is because of the high air pressure, actually. Okay, and as when you go up, okay, when you go up high, I mean, if when you go up the mountain, you will have the hard time breathing. It is because that is due to the air pressure. Okay, the air pressure is increasing. Okay, there you go. That is letter A. 54. The earth rotates on its axis from west to east. This causes the sun to rise from, this is from the east, and sets in the west. Okay, so appear with the fear. Yeah, this is rise and sets, rising and the setting of the sun. Okay. Next one of these plants has the greatest gravitational pull. Which one is it? Okay, so that's Jupiter, because the bigger the object, and then the bigger the what's that? The object, the greater the gravitational pull it has. Okay. Next, 56. It is the law which explains why one can pull a piece without topping a glass in a quick motion. Okay. Na-try nyo to siguro to sa physics. Okay, so that is law of inertia. Okay, law of inertia. Next one. Which of the following is not a source of energy? Water, nuclear, geothermal heat, or inertia at rest. Okay, that's inertia at rest. No energy in there. Okay, so water can be a source of energy, also nuclear, also geothermal. Next one, which instrument will one use to convert mechanical energy to electrical energy? Yeah, generator. 58 is generator. Okay. Mechanical to electrical energy. Anyway, next one. Sun's energy is generated by A. Nuclear fission. B. Sun's interacting with gravity. And letter C. Nuclear fusion reaction. And okay, so what's the difference between nuclear fusion and nuclear fission? Nuclear fission is the splitting of the atoms. Okay. Whereas nuclear fusion is the combination of or union of two atoms. Okay, so they're opposites. Okay, so sun's energy is generated by nuclear fusion reaction. So the two atoms of helium combines together or unites, that produce the nuclear energy, okay, of the sun. Next one, application of energy is called work. Okay, so because we say energy is the capacity to do work, right? So that's letter A. The falling of any form of water from the air to the earth at surface is precipitation, okay, or rain. Next one, 62. The part of the atmosphere that filters the ultraviolet. Okay, so this is the ozone layer, of course. There's already a question there. There was already a question like in the first part. Anyway, the point in the Earth's orbit nearest the sun is what's called perihelion. Aphelion is the opposite, the farthest away. Okay, that's the difference. Next one, property of minerals. Wait, sorry. Okay. So, property of minerals, a property of minerals which gives off rays of light when exposed to ultraviolet rays. That's phosphorescence. Okay. Next one, 65. Which process involves chemical weathering? Chemical weathering. Okay, carbonation, oxidation, hydration. So that's all of the above. Okay, hydration. There is all breaking down. Next one. How long does it take for the Earth to complete one rotation? That is one rotation. Rotation is like the 24 hours, okay, along the axis. Revolution is along the orbit, okay? So rotation is along the axis, so that's 24 hours, which is letter C. Okay, so what is the principal function of gravity in the universe? It provision of for energy. No, it keeps the stars and other heavenly bodies in its orbit. Okay. Okay? Because if there will be no gravitational pull or gravity, all of the heavenly bodies like the stars, the planets, and the moons, and other heavenly bodies will be continuously falling and stuff like that, or like floating or flying. Yeah. Anyway, so 68. What does the word monsoon mean? Yeah, monsoon means seasons. Okay, so we have the dry monsoon and the wet monsoon. Okay, so dry and wet seasons. Next one, its discovery. Its discovery enabled geologists to date rocks. Okay, so dating rocks, carbon dating is actually used with fossils. That's radioactivity. That's radioactive decay. Okay, so that's letter C. It occurs when the Earth is between the Sun and the Moon, with the Earth shadow cast over the Moon. So that's lunar eclipse. Okay. Solar eclipse is the opposite. The Moon casts a shadow towards the Earth. Okay. 71. Male and female reproductive part of the flower. Male reproductive part is the stamen, and the pistil is the female reproductive part. So that's letter B. Okay. Next one, in the human body, the cell that most nearly resembles one-celled animals are what we called, red blood cell, white blood cells, or the nerve cells, or the antibodies. So it's letter B, white blood cells. Okay. The main energy source of the plant-eating animals are glucose. Yeah, plant-eating animals, that means they eat plants. Plants are very rich in glucose. Okay, when this glucose or simple sugars or carbohydrates, okay, when this glucose are combined together, they form the starch, okay? Like us, we're eating rice or grains, okay, corn, what more? There's very rich in starches because it has lots of glucose in it, and that's coming from the plants. Grains are produced by plants, okay? So that's our primary source of energy. Okay, so that's glucose. Next one. Cellulose is the source of what keeps the protects the cell wall of the cell of the plants. Okay, primary components of cell wall of the cells of the plant. Okay, there you go. Next one. These are cellular secretions which help regulate the breakdown and buildup of various substances in the body. So they are called hormones. Next one, it is the energy source of the cell which it uses for growing, reproducing, and other activities. Okay, so cellular respiration that produces energy. Okay, so produces energy, and that energy is ATP, and ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so nasa ano yan siya, nasa mitochondria, so dun sa cellular respiration. Okay. It is the energy source of the cell, which, yeah. It is a segment of DNA molecule which controls the appearance of the given trait. Okay, so that's genes. Okay, chromosomes are composed of genes. Okay, and genes are composed of alleles, and these alleles are dominant and recessive alleles. Okay, gametes are sex reproductive organs. Reproductive cells of the male and the female, right? So the sperm and the egg cells. Okay, zygotes is a fertilized egg. Chromosomes are composed of genes. Okay, there you go. Next one, 77. Group of similar cells performing similar functions. Cells, tissues, organ system. Ganun siya, yung hierarchical organization. So that is tissue, which is letter D. Okay, cell, tissues, organ system, organism, population, community, and ecosystem and biosphere. Yan, ganun siya. Next on the diffusion of water through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, diffusion, this is the movement from higher concentration to lower concentration. Okay, okay, and substances. Okay, shall we say, example of diffusion is like when you drop an ink, okay, in a glass of water. This ink will spread evenly in the in the glass of, or I mean in the water. That movement from higher concentration, the point or the area or the region where the ink touches the surface of the water, that area has the high concentration of ink. Okay, so the movement of the ink molecules or atoms towards the area or the region where there are no ink particles, that is what we call diffusion. Okay, movement of particles from higher concentration to lower concentration, that is diffusion. Now, the answer here in 78 is osmosis, because this is a special type of diffusion wherein the water moves from a higher concentration to lower concentration. Example, okay? So, pag binabad natin yung mga vegetables natin sa vegetables or plants or anything, pag binabad natin, if you're gonna soak it in the water, I mean in salt, okay? Nagwi-wilt siya, it is because the water from the plant is moving from the higher concentration of water which is in the plant going to the outside environment which has lots of salt, because the primary purpose of diffusion is to have to get the balance of the internal and the external environments. Okay, balance yung salt and water concentration. Okay, so ganun siya, ganun yung nangyayari dyan. Okay, so yeah. Next one, 79. It shows the complex food relationship of organism in a given area and the cyclic flow of blood through food through organisms. So that's food web. Okay, so that's letter B. 80. Which of the following does not occur to both respiration and fermentation? Okay, respiration. This is the process of gas exchange in the capillaries in the body and in the lung. Okay, or the making of, also in the cellular respiration, that is the making of energy. Okay, whereas fermentation, this is the process of making alcohol actually. Like example is like wine making, that is there, okay? Not occur in both, so this alcohol is formed in fermentation, whereas in respiration, there is no alcohol formed. Okay, so that's letter C. Okay, there you go. Letter D, I'm sorry, alcohol is formed. 81. Energy removal is best illustrated in boiling of water to ice, or changing boiling of liquid substances, changing water to ice, changing water to steam, and none of the above. Okay, so removal of energy, this is like the exothermic reaction. Okay, when I say removal, that means the heat is removed. When the heat is removed in a given, or like shall I say water, okay, so yung water magko-cool down and that becomes ice. Okay, so that is changing water to ice. Now, if this ice turns into water, that means the energy or the heat energy is absorbed in there. Okay, so that's why absorption of heat, that makes it water. I mean, that makes the ice into water, and then the release of heat, that makes the water into ice. Okay. So refers to the maximum amount of solute expressed in grams that can be dissolved in 100 grams of water. Okay, so that's solubility. Okay, so if you notice at room temperature, if you just continue, if you have a glass of water and you continue pour sugar or salt in it and constantly stirring it, it will reach to the point where the sugar or the salt or any solute will not dissolve anymore. It is because it reached at that point, I mean that maximum point where solute can be dissolved. Okay, how are we going to dissolve this solute? Okay, like sugar and salt, we apply or we heat it. Okay, we apply heat in it, and that's like if we are going to place that in the stove and stuff, so they melt. Okay, they dissolve. So yun siya. That is solubility. Molarity, that is the ratio of the volume, I mean like the mass and the volume of the given substance, whereas the molality is the ratio of the mole versus the volume of a substance. Okay, so ganun siya. Next, 83. Compounds with the same molecular formula but with different structural formulas. That is isomers. Okay? Isomers. Monomers are like monosaccharides, like simple substances. Polymers are complex substances like polysaccharides. Okay? Cellulose, starch. Okay? Ganun siya.